You know how we do.
Se acabó.
Free drinks in the house. Word. Everybody drinking tonight. Get that weed. Por ahí viene, perro. Por ahí viene.
First of all, thank you very much for being here and making this incredible event for our ecosystem. So I represent Georgia's Innovation and Technology Agency. We are a governmental organization under the Ministry of Economics, and our goal is to develop innovation and startup ecosystem of our country. So we started operating back in 2014, and for these days our ecosystem have developed so much. So we have some global startups, we have one successful exit as well. So so this ecosystem is growing. So day by day we have such kind of international activities thanks to you and your kind of organizations. So yeah.
How does JITA facilitate the development of startups? How do you help them to grow, to expand, or maybe other things you are doing within the country?
Yeah, so as we are community builders and ecosystem builders, it's very, very important to have diversified project which is going after each other. So first of all, on our first days, we were having such kind of events, hackathons, where we gathered some youngsters, innovators, to think of their ideas, gather some teams and work on their ideas. So startup definition, so there's many startup definitions in the world, but one of them is that it's an innovative business model, so group of people who are trying to raise money, so to find some funding. So that's why it's really important to have many funding programs in every stage of the startups. So the first one, we have 15K grants for prototyping. So it's like a person can come, apply for our grant for prototyping 665 days. Yeah, so always. So we fund them for this, and the next level is this 150K grant, where we grant global startups. So startups should have potential to become global. So if they're potentially operating just in Georgia or just in region, so we cannot fund. But startups who are global, are innovative, and have a really high scalability level can be funded there. So the best thing in that program is that we bring trainers from Silicon Valley, and these trainers train our startups how to pitch their ideas, how to go among investors. So it's and after that we bring VC fund representatives and also angel investors, and our startups pitch among them. So it's really important that we are trying to bring US and Western values here in this ecosystem. So our startups are getting ready to be funded by Western VC funds, etc. So, and the last program we have is this 750K grant. Is 50-50 matching grant. So if a startup will raise funding from private sector, so JITA can add one more. So it helps. So this the idea of this grant program is that Georgian investors and people who own money to start to fund startups and have motivation, because if they'll invest in startups 750,000K, so there will be invested $1.5 million Georgian lari. So that's the whole idea of it. So for today, we have over 300 startups in our portfolio. We have one exit in USA. So I think this is the real success story, because this youngster who sold his and their startup for a couple of million US dollars now came back in Georgia, and now they became angel investors. So they are funding another startup. So yeah, so our ecosystem became little with small steps, but already kind of matured.
Great, you're doing an amazing job. How does startups prefer to scale up? Do they more often expand to Central Asia, or they stay here and grow locally, or move into EU, US? what is the tendency nowadays?
Yeah, so tendency in that direction is that most of the startups start operating in Georgia because it's really good market to start, because we are 3 million people, and we have really, our communities are really strong, have really strong bonds. So it's really easy to test your product, validate your idea, startup, test MVP, get feedback from your customers. So startups usually start operating here to test their MVP. So after their MVP is ready and they are kind of ready to go to global. So it depends the startup and what's better for their idea. But there's tendency that many startups prefer to go to Asian market because there are really good paid countries, so countries who have a lot of money, but in terms of innovations, technology, so they are not developed as so well. So it's really good for our startups because they can sell their products there, and our geographical position is really, really good because we are right in the middle of Asia, on the line of Asia and Europe. So we are kind of like, our startups can just take hands and yeah, so may put these two huge markets together. So some startups are like this, some startups, so this one of the exits I told you, so they were from the first day were pointing USA because they knew they were doing something really amazing. So they sold their startup in USA. So it depends, but most of the startups, I'll say again, start in Georgia and then expand. It depends of their product and business model.
I see. And how this kind of events can facilitate or impact the ecosystem, and do you have some stories maybe of expansions starting from something similar and growing in something bigger?
So first of all, I want to say again, really, really thanks to your organization for doing this thing and Visegrad Fund for making all of this thing possible. So as humanity are developing every day, and this technology, internet, so and globalization is on its prime today. So world and people of this world have never been so close. So it's really great, but this thing brings bigger problems. So the problems which need to be solved becomes bigger. So it's really, really important to keep these youngsters from different cultures, different countries together, and they can handle these huge problems really easily. So right now, when I'm thinking about back in 2014 when we started operating, and there were just 15, 20 youngsters and developers and innovators who are taking part in hackathons. And now when I see that here are representatives of 8 different countries, youngsters, developers whose everyday life is to solve problems of humanity, and I saw they working together, these different cultures, and solved some huge problems. So it's amazing, and yeah, so you really bring world to another level. So thanks for that.
Thank you. Thank you for, it was a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you for the interview. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Wish you productive events, and wish you as many people be your beneficiaries, and as many, and wish you many people have this smiling face. I saw you to this 50 people were standing here with their certificates and their winning passion. So thanks for all of these emotions you brought to that people and to our ecosystem and country.
Thank you.
Thank you.